Ba 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 ba. Hi. Thank you for the head pat, and also thank you for the follow. Thank you, thank you. Hello, hello. Welcome, welcome. Hope you all have a hold on, I need to brain. I hope you all are having a good day. There we go. I did it. I made it through my words. Heck yeah. Are you proud of me, chat? If you are, you shouldn't be. Anyways. How is everyone doing? I hope you're all having a great day. Ali, how you doing? Hope you're doing great. Oh my god. Oh man. I had a nap. It was a good nap. Yeah. Yep, I had a nap. I also ate food. Yeah. Since the previous stream, I have eaten. It was yummy. Yep. I had some curried potatoes. Very tasty. Very, very yummy. Tired. Don't work next week. So that is nice. How Aura? Aura is okay. That's right. 2 letters at least. Probably. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Meow. Ow. There wasn't even a redeem for hydrate. I just felt like hydrating. You bacchus. Oh my god. Well, alrighty then. As some of you may recall, if you were watching me earlier, I still have a lot of videos left on my watch later list. So, what say we start getting through those? Right. I've got some actually pretty long videos on here. But it'll be good. It'll be yummy. Yummy? Do people usually call videos yummy? I mean, I would understand it for like food videos, but like maybe I just have something wrong with my brain. Yeah. Anyways, let's do the thing. Up. That was the wrong button. That button. There we go. Yay! Yeah. So something on marbles apparently almost got rev banned. Ghost hand. Oh. I mean, to be fair, I do have a very patable head. It's true facts. True facts. Thank you for your head pat. Ollie the Baka. Anyways, Vidya.
I'm in the race. I'm in it.
Squishy.
Okay, not for long. Oh my gosh. That profile picture. I don't know. It's clean. It's clean. Okay, it's clean. It's clean, Kylo. Holy moly, with the way their skin was, I didn't think those were dresses. I thought those were tan lines.
Yeah, I was like, seen too many of those images.
Now it's cool. Now we get to show it off. And you won. Base profile picture and a based victory.
Nice.
GG. That's how it should be, ladies and gentlemen. I got real nervous there for a second. But the thing is, I could have moved on without saying anything, but I had to know the truth. I had to go back and check it again. Yo, darling, thank you for another 100 bits saying I have that picture, and the one where it is actually tan lines and one that's a little more than tan lines. Okay.
Oh my.
Cultured taste, all of you. But I'm
Well,
glad I got the
tan lines
proper
blessed.
Twitch
No, you.
version. That's all I'm saying.
You're
You guys
blessed
got my back.
with being adorable.
Hello, everybody, and
All right. We have a Wendigoon video. That's right. The weirdest and coolest cryptids so far. This is video number 6. I've watched the previous 5 off stream, right? Because like, this is the sort of stuff that I'm into. Yeah. Cryptids and stuff. Anyways, if you want to watch the other ones, you'll have to watch them in your own time. Because I'm not going back and watching all of them on stream. That would just take too long. So, here we go.
welcome to Tier 6 of the Cryptid Iceberg. Remember how last time I was complaining because a bunch of the guys on that tier
Let's
were
turn this down a
losers?
bit.
Well, this time we have the opposite problem. There's way too many cool ones on this tier. If I
Fair.
was smart, I would have thought about that before I made the iceberg and more evenly distributed them, but it's too late for that now, so you all just get a cool video. If you've been keeping up with the series, then hopefully some of these creatures are a bit more niche than the monsters we've covered thus far, and if you haven't seen any of the rest of the series, and this is your first video of the Cryptid Iceberg, then cool, you get to hear about 20 really weird things. One thing I want to mention before we get started, because it relates to cryptids and I figure you all probably care about that sort of thing. A while back, I
Imagine
did the
caring.
Legacy of the Wendigo poster with
Oh.
Invis. It's this really cool poster we did about like
That's
the
a pretty
Wendigo
cool
above
poster.
a campfire
Nice.
and blah blah blah, something something legend, something something storytelling. Well, you all showed so much support with that drop, and I really do appreciate it, that Invis asked if I'd be willing to do a whole series of cryptids, to which I said
Yo.
yes. And I
Hell
don't know
yeah.
if I'm supposed to show this to you yet, but I'm going to anyway. Very soon we're going to have Legacy of the Mothman. I am blown
Lord.
away by the amount of detail and
That is
artwork on display here.
beautiful.
We have the image of the
Hell
small town
yeah.
of Point Pleasant and the snow-capped mountains and the
Mothman
searchlights
is
going to like
goated.
this giant, both like hairy but also insectoid Mothman. It kind of captures like both
Beautiful.
ends of the spectrum and what people
Beautiful.
think he looks like, you know, like cuddly creature or creepy monster. And I really couldn't be happier with this. I think it pairs perfectly with the Wendigo one, but even if you don't have the Wendigo
Hell
one,
yeah.
I think this is a really cool poster on its own. So this is going to drop on the 23rd, I believe, this Tuesday.
That's
so
tomorrow.
in a couple days,
Oh my
I
word.
will put an announcement on the community tab. I'll make a tweet about it, whatever. The reason I tell you now is because, just like with the Wendigo poster, I'm going to be signing 100 of these, numbered
Yo.
1 through 100. I'm going to be signing 100 of these, and after those signed posters are gone, they're gone forever. So if you want in
pretty
on
dope.
that, have your notifications ready for Tuesday. And if you want just a normal poster, we're going to be selling this size, the 18 by 24, and also an 11 by 17, I believe. So if you want
Nice.
either one of those, be on the lookout Tuesday. But regardless, I want to say thank you all very much for the support you've shown, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to do stuff like this. The reason I get to make goofy, weird cryptid videos and weird cryptid posters is because of the support you all have shown.
Hell
And I
yeah.
don't take that for granted. So thank you all very much for that. Be on the lookout for that April 23rd. Oh yeah, URL will be invis.tv/collection/Wendigoon, because I'm stupid. Why didn't I say that before? Enough talking about that creepy monster. Let's get into some other creepy monsters.
Yay!
And if you love stories of things that go
Oh,
bump in the night,
Here's the
you're
sponsor. Never mind. I don't really care about whatever that is. Let's just do the tiers.
Thank you so much. Description is thanks
Tiers
for
of the
video.
cryptids.
We are going to go ahead and get into it, but as always,
Yay.
thank you for watching. So
Thank
if
you
you look
for
at the
making
image
content.
of this whole iceberg on tier 6, I goofed. For some reason, I don't know why, I put the Wawasee sturgeon twice on the iceberg when I already talked about it in I think like tier 3 or 4. I guess I was just really excited to talk about that fish. So if you look at the iceberg, the
It's a
Wawasee
fish.
sturgeon's on this tier. Just pretend like that doesn't exist, and instead, we're going to talk about the tree squeak.
Tree
This fearsome
squeak?
critter of North America is said to appear as a normal weasel other than its extra long tail and legs. However, it
Isn't
has
that
the
just a
ability to
possum?
wrap around tree trunks and, like a chameleon, perfectly match the color of
Oh.
wood. Building their homes in the fork of trees, if anything
Oh,
were to
that's cute.
disturb the tree squeak as it rests on a log, it would emit a cry, the sound of which is a mimic. The animal's call could not only copy other animals such as elk, dog, or bird, but even gunshots and dynamite.
Dang.
If annoyed by humans, the clever tree squeak may use
so
these
cool.
sounds in combination to cause people to be lost in the woods, as the creature itself was kept invisible by its unique appearance. Many a folktale is centered on this mischievous trickster of the American woodlands. We are already off to a strong start. I absolutely love the fearsome critters. I didn't know about the fearsome critters. Maybe I heard the word before, but I didn't know it was like a whole compendium until I started this series. The fearsome critters of North America is some of my favorite cryptid storytelling.
Cool.
Because you can so easily picture how stories like this would have been created, how they could have been told around campfires, how they could have been used to scare or haze newcomers to the group.
Good morning,
it's similar
Cobra.
to things like the aggro pelter, right? In Tier 5, we talked about how the aggro pelter was an explanation for limbs falling on and killing lumberjacks in the woods. Well, the tree squeak's in the same boat, right? If you've spent any time in the woods, I'm sure there's been an instance where you've heard an animal but not been able to find it. So people sitting around a campfire decide to spin a yarn that it's actually a weasel-looking thing that can just turn the color of a tree and then make different animal noises to taunt you. Not that the creature itself is that menacing, but because of its uniqueness and because it fits into the coziness of campfire stories that I love so much, I've got to give it an A tier. Because ultimately, all I care about is the creature being cool. And if it's cool because it's scary, or it has a menacing appearance, or if you can just make good stories out of it, all the same in my book. Moving on from the tree squeak, next up we have the glyptodon. These giant armadillos are said to have once roamed the Americas some 11,000 years ago. Reaching 5 feet in height and 2 tons in weight, the glyptodon dwarfed any modern species of armadillo. Its status as a cryptid began in the 1960s when several accounts of vehicle-sized quadrupeds made their way through South America, culminating in a reported capture of a living glyptodon in 1967 was later confirmed to be a hoax. Regardless, the sightings and stories of this gigadillo continue. While it is amusing to think about an armadillo the size of a Volkswagen Beetle, I'm gonna have to give it a D tier. Not F, because admittedly a big armadillo is kind of cool, but once again it was just a creature that did exist that people say maybe still does exist. And
yeah, that's entirely fair. I can't really argue against that. The idea of a giant armadillo can be like pretty cool, but like it's not as cool as these other things.
As with everything else down here, I don't care. The tree squeak can become invisible and make dynamite noises. The glyptodont is an armadillo, but large. So moving on from a cryptid that should have tried harder, we have the cynocephaly. Translating to dog-headedness, nearly every culture of the Eastern world holds some legend of humans with the head of a dog. Distinct from werewolves through maintained behavior and some regions describing the beast as a shapeshifter, they were often ascribed to entire groups of people. Many cultures incorporated cynocephaly into more common historical beliefs, such as Europeans detailing the creature's encounters with figures such as Jesus Christ. Some attribute the legends to stories of demons, spirits, and the like. Regardless of strangeness, its proliferation across languages is interesting, if not concerning. I'm putting the cynocephaly as non-applicable because I'm not really interested in it as a cryptid. If I was, it would probably be like a C or D tier. I'm more interested by its implication. See, I'm sure we're all familiar with at least one example of a dog-headed person in ancient lore. Like Anubis from Egyptian mythology. But it's interesting that the concept of a dog-headed person shows up in a lot of different regions. Civilizations like the Egyptians and the Romans had stories of dog-headed people. People in East Asia would say entire tribes of people were dog-headed people. Of course, this was used as a sort of indoctrination to dehumanize the enemy, but still, the symbol persists. The two options are the cool one, that maybe there was either some kind of dog person in humanity's history, or spirits or demons or what have you can appear as a dog-headed person. Or the other option, that one story proliferated through so many cultures and just seemed to work their way into all these different narratives.
Could be either. Could be both.
Both of which says a lot about cryptozoology as a whole. After that, we have an equally important cryptid, Bigfoot. With a naming convention
Pigfoot. Not Bigfoot, but Pigfoot. With a P.
borrowed from the famed Sasquatch, Pigfoot is a half-man, half-pig beast. Some specimens of
Are you sure that's not the, like, man-bear pig?
wild hog are cryptids in their own right, reaching weights in the tons. Pigfoot simply asks how terrifying that creature might be if it sought to harm man, and in some stories, walked upright. Said to stalk the woods of the
Fair.
American Northeast, its stench precedes it, and its imposing figure is used to chase off and potentially kill those who cross its path. Stories of Pigfoot date back to the natives of the land, who referred to the creature as Quintachek. And to this day, a festival is held not in worship, but reverence of the creature each year. Or at least, so the story goes. So Pigfoot, really big pig-human hybrid thing that wants to kill people. Pretty standard. What isn't standard is what I found while researching this thing. So most of the stories about the legend of Pigfoot come from one source called, and I'm not kidding, Angry Johnny and the Killbillies, which to my
Really?
understanding is both a website and a band that has a fictional town known as Killville, Massachusetts, and a bunch of different cryptids and urban legends surrounding the fictional town. And while it
Okay.
seems that Pigfoot existed a little bit, like the word was passed around before Angry Johnny did what he did with it, most of the lore you find online seems to come from him. So that's pretty neat, and check out the Killbillies if you want. That being said, D tier. Because yes, while the name is
Yeah,
cute and
that's
pigs
fair.
can be scary, it's just really big pig person.
Yeah, just really big pig on two legs. Ooh, so scary.
Next up, we have the Trinity Alps giant salamander. In the 1920s, several reports of salamanders reaching
salamanders
up to
are
9
pretty
feet
cool.
in length popped
9
up in the
feet?
hills of northern
Holy
California.
crap.
While hellbenders, a gargantuan salamander of the eastern United States, can reach massive lengths, some men reported the Trinity Alps
Man.
salamanders as being as large as a grown alligator, with clusters in the dozens.
Wow.
This culminated in the 1950s when Tom Slick led an expedition to locate the creature, yet nothing was found. Despite this, the occasional sighting and fisherman's tale keeps the story of this record-breaking amphibian alive.
Huh.
I always think it's cool when reports of a cryptid culminate in like an actual investigation. Like Tom Slick was the heir of a huge oil company and was known for going on like cryptozoology.
Is that why it's called an oil slick? Oh, I understand now. The wording didn't make sense until now. Slick is like the family name for making oil. Fair enough.
Missions, I guess, expeditions, whatever you want to call them. And even though they didn't find anything, the fact they went in the first place is pretty cool. And again, hellbenders are really big and kind of scary and do exist. So who's to say something that big can't get
Fair.
a few feet longer? So while there is a lot of real world stuff around it, and it is one of the more likely cryptids
Man, I wonder what sort of diet they'd have to get that big. Like, holy crap. That was a big lizard. Amphibian lizard? Amphibian. Salamanders are amphibians, right? I think he said it, but like, I'm dumb.
to actually exist on this iceberg, that narrowly saves it from D tier. Because sure, yeah, a lot of validity, whatever, but it's a really big salamander.
True.
But you know what isn't a really big salamander?
These
The
nuts.
hibagon. Also known
Oh,
as the
that one too.
Japanese Bigfoot, this beast can be thought of as an American Bigfoot
Hibagon.
with slight alterations, such as a height of only 5 feet, an abnormally large head, and a protruding face. As with most Japanese legends, it is particularly terrifying. Not only is the beast described as intelligent and fast, and all encounters note a distinct lack of noise or calls, but some accounts describe the hibagon as using tools and rather than attacking humans, simply watching and stalking us. I've talked about it before, the coolest cryptids in the world come from Japan, Brazil, and Appalachia. Japan takes the American Bigfoot, makes it this silent predator that can move through the woods really fast.
That's pretty
It doesn't
cool.
necessarily want to kill us, but wants to watch us for some reason. and seems to be building.
I always feel like somebody's watching me.
Something. I would normally call something like this C tier because no matter how you cut it, it is a Bigfoot derivative. But even though that's true, it does some unique things with the creature, and all the drawings and like renditions of it I've seen are kind of creepy. Like, it's better at being scary than most Bigfoot depictions. So while I kind of want to call it C tier because it's not a huge cultural staple, I'm also not Japanese, so I don't know how important it is in Japan or how much of an impact it's had. So I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt and call it B tier. Because if you're going to rip off another cryptid, at least do something fun with it. I'm looking at you, every American lake monster. And speaking of American lake monsters, next up we have the Oklahoma octopus. Within the landlocked states of Oklahoma, legend exists of an octopus that pulls swimmers to their death. Said to be the size of a horse, the octopus is blamed for the high rates of drowning within several of Oklahoma's man-made lakes. Some species of octopus can survive in fresh water for short periods of time, and with generations of adaptation, a freshwater octopus is theoretically possible. With deaths unexplained and waters ripe with mystery, stories of the Oklahoma octopus are alive and well. The Oklahoma octopus is oddly famous. I remember as a kid seeing a Lost Tape episode about it, and then I just kind of saw it everywhere after that. But all it really is an octopus in Oklahoma. And sure, it's a big octopus, but like squid get way bigger than that. And to most people, I assume they have the same fear factor associated. So
yeah, probably.
I'm not going to give it F tier.
All about them tentacles.
Not a Nessie clone. At least it's something different. But at the same time, octopus, no need salt. So D tier. I would normally give it bonus points for being so popular, but like I said, it is just an octopus. After that, we have the glaucus. This fearsome critter is said to stalk the woods of Glastonbury, Connecticut. Described as a lion-bear-panther hybrid, the beast is said to be blind with a perfect sense of hearing and smell. If any look the glaucus in the eyes, they will immediately lose their memory, explaining why, despite dozens of searches for the creature, few had memory of their encounter. Despite rumors of its existence fading out in the mid-50s, old legends of lost pets and people lead many to believe something once lived, or still lives, out there. I think the premise of the glaucus is really neat. Granted, the appearance of it is kind of lackluster. It's just taking a bunch of animals that do exist and pushing them together. But the idea that it's blind, but can hear and smell really well, so if you can throw it off on one of those, you may have a chance. But if you look it in the eye, you lose your memory.
Yeah, one of the easiest ways to ditch something like that is probably just like a peppermint bomb. Simple as that. For those that don't know what a peppermint bomb is, it's basically like if you take like a small vial of peppermint oil or something like that and just like crack it open. Like, you know how they do like smoke bombs in the movies? They just throw it on the ground and poof, smoke. It's like that, except it's for scent. It's like a smoke bomb for scent, right? Does that make sense? I think that makes sense. I could be wrong.
I couldn't find reports to clarify if you lose like memory of your whole life or just memory of your encounter. I assume just of the encounter.
Memory of these nuts.
And like I've talked about with other stories, one of my favorite aspects of cryptids is how you could work them into narratives. So if you were sitting around with your friends and one of them said, well, they've never heard of the glaucus, ask if they've ever been in the woods by themselves. And you can eventually gaslight them into believing that they not only know of it, but maybe came into contact with it. But
that's kind of funny.
Eyes, they simply
mean,
don't
but
remember.
Funny.
It's a lot of fun. I can't put it in A tier because it isn't that unique in its appearance, but it's certainly a strong B tier. Because again, if you can make cool stories with it, I'm all for it. And speaking of, next up we have the fur-bearing trout. Truly, the jackalope of the water, the fur-bearing trout was a running joke between the fishermen of North America. With origins in Iceland, legend says that in particularly cold climates, trout have adapted to the freezing temperatures by growing a thick layer of fur. This has led to many tall tales and stories of shoes and meat derived from the fish.
That is so
This
dumb.
fantastical legend finds itself comfortable in the myths of American mythology. All of these Americana, fearsome critters, things that go bump in the night, I can't get enough of. Because the concept of the fur-bearing trout, in and of itself, is teeming with stories. All you gotta do is take a trout taxidermy and put rabbit fur on it and hang it up in your bait and tackle shop, and whenever someone new comes to the area, tell them that you've got fur-bearing trout in the rivers. Or when you have
Fair
someone
enough.
over for salmon, tell them that the salmon
Fair
is
enough.
that of a fur-bearing trout. And if they really think about it, they can probably taste the difference. Or you could just straight up lie, and if you have like a rabbit pelt thing, just tell people it is a trout pelt thing. I think I even have a fur-bearing trout thing in here somewhere. Yeah. Check this out. Look at this guy.
Yo.
Tell me that's not neat. Tell me he's not cute. Look at him. He's got his little gray rabbit fur on him. Like, how could you not love that? In one of the tall tales I read, fishermen who go looking for the fur-bearing trout have to bring with them a Brannock device. A Brannock
what?
device is the thing at shoe stores that you use to measure your feet for the shoe.
Okay.
And yes, I had to look that up. So normally when you go fishing, there are length requirements for the fish. Like, they don't want you killing young fish that haven't had the chance to reproduce. So the fish has to be a certain length for you to be able to keep it. Well, in the story of the fur-bearing trout, men had to come measure their foot and then put it up next to the trout to prove that the trout could make them an effective pair of shoes. Again, the creature is fun and rife with stories. I can't call it an A tier because it's not particularly terrifying and it's not as unique as something like the tree squeaker, but I can certainly call it B tier where I feel it fits right at home with the jackalope.
That is so
might
weird.
speak to something deeper about me, that some of my favorite cryptids are the ones you can use to trick or gaslight people, but I'm not going to think about that too much right now. And instead, we're just going to move on to the devil bird. Also known
bird.
as the ulama, this bird of Sri Lanka is said to emit a horrific cry, signifying that death was soon to visit.
That's
Locals
just an
have
owl.
claimed many different birds to be the actual devil bird, with most ornithologists believing the spot-bellied eagle owl to be the physical match, while the vocal match is most likely the forest eagle owl or the crested honey buzzard. This lack of continuity between sightings leads to a more troubling idea. The concept that, if this devil bird is truly wrought from hell, perhaps it takes the visage and voice of other birds to deliver its message. With origins stooped in the story of a villager driven by madness into the jungle, a demonic minister within the forest of Southeast Asia is enough to make any traveler weary of the trees. So on its own, as a
Weird.
cryptid, I feel like the devil bird is an F tier because, you know, people are like, oh, there's this scary sound in the trees. It's some kind of bird. And then bird people are like, oh, is it that kind of bird? And the person who heard it's like, yeah. Like they see a
basically,
bird and say, yeah, that looks like the bird I heard. And they hear another bird and say, that sounds like the bird I heard. So you could make the leap, like I just said, that it mimics the appearance and sounds of different birds, but even then it's just birds that already exist. However, it is cool that the legend comes from someone that went crazy and was forced to be kind of a messenger from hell, and anytime it crows, it signifies death is soon to visit, and it's also called the devil bird, so I'll call it D tier. But I'm telling you, if the devil wasn't involved in that one, it's going straight to F. And speaking of F tier, spoilers, we have the Cuban critter. While they do in fact hail from Cuba, nothing about these creatures is typical for their environment. In 1940,
that looks like that one thing in Ark that always killed me on the land. It's like a Megathoptera or something. I hated those things, man. They were so strong and fast, and I could never get away.
48, the critters were spotted near the coast of Cuba and described as being 15 feet tall, covered in hair, and possessing a large crocodile-shaped head. These sightings have been connected to that of the megalonyx, or giant ground sloth, and despite a limited era of reported encounters, some believe this once extinct creature to still inhabit the Cuban jungle. Alright, so like I said, F tier, and I'll tell you why. I'm already not a fan of things that did exist, maybe just existing now. I mean, obviously,
Fair.
it's cool if it really happens, like the coelacanth and stuff like that. We get that. But the concept of like, oh, a scary monster that goes bump in the night, that is just a thing that once existed, isn't that interesting to me. And it seems like what happened with the Cuban critter is in 1948, around the time people started talking about these giant ground sloths that used to exist, someone was just like, oh, I saw one of those. And everyone's like, oh, where? And they're like, over there on the beach. And then they go look and they can't find one. And there was one reporting that happened like in the 50s where someone said they spotted one, but then people investigated and it was like a normal sloth that like someone had brought. And they're like, oh, sorry, I thought it was
What's
15
a Bali?
feet tall, my mistake. And it's just like the sightings of it are really dumb.
I see.
And it's just like, for a few years, people who saw the skeletons of the big ground sloth said that they saw one of those, but they couldn't prove it. There's going to be a lot of ground sloth things coming up in the list. I can just feel it because there's so many different cryptids that get attributed to them. So I'm not going to get mad yet, but I can feel it coming on strong. But yeah, for now, F tier. The only good thing I can say about it is the name Cuban critter is cute. When I read that name originally, I was expecting some kind of little goblin thing.
The reason it didn't work is because you put an S at the end.
But no, it's just a big sloth. So moving on from that, we have
Neo-dinosaurs.
Neo-dinosaurs is a blanket term for cryptids that can be classified as prehistoric dinosaurs still existent in the modern age. Some examples of which we've already discussed, like Makale Membe and the Loch Ness Monster. However, they are mentioned now to emphasize the validity of various cryptid sightings. Dinosaurs existed in every corner of the world, and now their sightings continue in their stead. Perhaps the question to be asking among these cryptids is not, do they exist, but do they still exist? Neo-dinosaurs are going to non-applicable, obviously, as a cryptid. With everything I just explained with the ground sloth, not interested. But it is something to keep in mind that dinosaurs were all over the world, and now several cryptids that appear as dinosaurs, or at least have some similarities, are also being spotted all over the world. Something about the whole false extinction thing that we've talked about earlier to keep in mind with some of these encounters. Especially ones that date back to before the modern era. That maybe it was a creature that existed for a while, that may be extinct now, but might not have been then. An example of which we'll talk about right now with the Sukarath. In Patagonia, South America, early European explorers described a very unique encounter.
What's that?
This animal, that would later be called a Sukarath, was described as having a human-like face with a large mane and a long, hairy tail, which it uses to cover the young it carries on its back, the offspring unready to endure the harsh climate. The interesting aspect of this cryptid is that it was never described as such. Instead, documentarians merely mentioned it along with descriptions of other wildlife, detailing the natives which wore their fur and their habit of living near riverbanks. Theorists have pointed at everything from giant anteaters to now extinct sloths as the candidate. The Sukarath is perhaps an example of humanity's encounters with a species in their twilight. Again, potentially a creature that existed then, but just doesn't now. Reports of the Sukarath would have occurred around the late 1500s, early 1600s. And when it says things like the face of a man, it doesn't mean like a man's head on an animal's body. It means more in the way you would describe a chimp's face or something like that. It's flat, it has the features in the same place, not a long snout, etc.
There's also the possibility that it could have just been a mutated thing of some other species. Like if you've ever seen a cyclopic goat. Ghost hand. But yeah. Cyclopeans exist in all sorts of species. As well as like human-faced versions of like aminals. Yeah. Usually the human-faced ones don't really live all that long because in having a shorter muzzle, you know, or whatever it's called, it's like they just don't survive as long, especially out in the wild. They can survive a lot longer in like human care, but Not so much otherwise.
And details like it has a tail it uses as a sort of umbrella for the babies on its back is pretty cool. As a cryptid though, I've got to call it a D tier because it's just a kind of unique animal that existed at one point, supposedly, but interesting for its historical context nonetheless. Next up, we have the bunyip.
The bunyip.
The bunyip is one
I've
of
heard of that.
Australia's most famed cryptids. There isn't a consensus on its appearance, as some describe it as a reptilian dog, and others simply call it a snake with a beard. Bunyip legend dates to
Did he just say a snake with a beard? What the heck?
the early 1800s, with Aboriginal legends stating that a man named Bunyip ate his totem animal and was cursed to become a spirit, luring passerbys to their watery deaths. With rivers and even the town of Bunyip, Victoria, named after the creature, its impact on culture and history means this legend will continue for generations to come. Australia is interesting because every animal in that country is already trying to kill you, so they have to get creative with their monsters. And the bunyip does just that. Some of the depictions of it are really weird. It's like a cyclops thing with like fin feet that crawls out of the water and then lures people near the water so it can jump out like a trapdoor spider and kill them. And there's a lot of stories around the creature. Not only its origin, where it was cursed to be a monster like I spoke of, but there's a lot of stories of people out in the outback of Australia who become victim of the creature, or hunting parties that fight one off. Pretty much, it's a good monster. So I'm going to call it B tier. And speaking of things in lakes that want to kill you, we have the Dabarchu. The lakes of Ireland tell tale of this gigantic otter. Sometimes described as a dog-otter hybrid or just a really big otter up to 7 feet long, the beasts are said to await prey in the water before attacking and even chasing their prey onto land.
Holy crap.
Sightings have occurred as far back as a tombstone in Glendale, claiming a woman had been killed by a Dabarchu in the 1600s, and as recently as 2003, with accounts spotting them near the Omi Island, Connemara. Several stories of battles with the species exist. It makes one think twice before approaching the Irish water's edge. So, on the surface, it's not that unique. It's either a really big otter, you can almost think of it as like a crocodile without the reptilian part, right? Like it's 7 feet long and it waits near the water's edge and jumps out and bites people. But there's something about like tombstones saying people have been dying for hundreds of years due to these creatures. And in some of the folk tales I read, it's like a man finds his wife ripped in half by one, so he kills it with a pitchfork. There's a lot of fun to be had with the stories around it. So while I'm not crazy about the cryptid itself, I do like a lot of the folklore attached to it, so I'm going to call it right in the middle at C tier. A lot of good has been done with the concept, but the concept itself isn't anything to write home about.
Fair enough.
You know what is a really cool concept? The side hill gouger. Among America's tall tales exists the side hill gouger, a creature that can appear in many variations, but most often resembles a sort of goat or hoofed creature. What they do all have in common is the set of legs on one side of their body is longer than the other. This means that gougers can only walk on hillsides, and specifically in one direction. Leading a gouger off a hillside will result in the animal walking in an awkward circle forever, and the beast is often blamed for stamped trails that circle mountaintops.
What the
Rare,
heck?
since clockwise gougers who give birth to counterclockwise gougers must abandon their young, and if a clockwise meets a counterclockwise, one must kill the other to pass. They find themselves at home in the far-out legends of the American countryside.
That is so
Once
weird.
again, these American tall tales have stolen my heart. If you've been out in the woods for any period of time, you can find those game trails whenever you get to the top of an elevation where like the local animals or runoff from the water has kind of matted out a flat spot near the brim of a mountaintop. And similar to a lot of these other American cryptids, we can see where people saw that and then made a legend around it. It must be a hillside gouger because they have to walk in that same circle, potentially at that same elevation, for their entire lives. And the idea that if a clockwise one gives birth to a counterclockwise, they're just like, they just have to look at each other and then the mother just has to leave because neither one can turn around to get to the other, so It just sucks. If they run into each other, it is a battle to the death. That is so fun. And there's other fun details, like a clockwise can only mate with a counterclockwise because that's the only way two of them can come into contact with each other. And the way that they migrate is because of their orientation, it is hard for them to couple in order to produce more. So they like lean up on each other and can finally walk in a straight direction, and it takes them a while to get sorted, and that's how they migrate. Two of them will just kind of drunkenly push off of each other until they're in another state. Once again, it is so much
weird.
fun. You can see where the legend came from. You can see how it could be used for tall tales. I love it. To me, it's a solid A tier for how unique the creature
Oh yeah,
is.
absolutely.
It's not an S tier because it doesn't try to attack people and
is
isn't
so
that scary. And also
Holy
because the shape of
Hey,
it
what
can
up,
kind of change
Podmaster? How you
depending on
doing?
which story you're listening to. It doesn't really have a defined form, so I wouldn't call it as cool as something like the Hodag, but pretty cool nonetheless, A tier. Eventually, I'm just
Yay.
going to have to make a video about all of the American tall tales. They exist
I'm doing all
in
right,
like
doing all right.
a bunch of pioneer books and stuff like that. You can just read all of them straight from the vine. So I might have to do that one day because I can't get enough. I want them injected into my blood. Speaking of injecting things into your blood, next up we have the Rokul. This armor-clad eel is said to exist within the ponds of Iceland. While no longer than a normal eel, it is its propensity for danger that makes it unique. Its scales are incredibly sharp, and its skin secretes a volatile poison. The Rokul waits for a victim to step into the pond, whom it then wraps around the leg of and digs to the bone before the target succumbs to the toxins.
Bruh.
Legend has it the killer comes from a dead, rotten eel that was forced back to life by magic, and their descendants have haunted the rancid waters of Iceland ever since.
Damn.
I like the Rokul. Its appearance is pretty basic, you know, it's just an eel, but it's fun because it poses a practical danger. People walking through the woods will come across ponds that they can't see clearly through. Better be careful stepping into it because an eel might wrap around your leg and kill you. There's also a lot of fun notes about him. Like the thing I mentioned, the first one came because someone brought back a rotten eel from the dead, and now it's kind of like spiteful and can only exist in unclean waters or whatever. There's also stories that say it's fine to leave sheep around them because their legs are too skinny for the Rokul to get a grip on. So while I would normally call it just an average cryptid, taking an animal, changing some stuff, putting it in a unique place, the stories and tales around it are pretty cool. So I'll call it a B tier. Anything gets bonus points if it makes you think twice about something you already do. Again, like going around puddles. After that, we have Big Hoot. Appalachia,
Hoot.
and specifically the Ohio River Valley.
That's just a big owl. That's just a big owl.
Hold legend
Okay.
of this massive bird. Big Hoot was first proposed by cryptozoologist Mark Hall, who theorized that the prevalence of Eastern American flying cryptids such as Mothman and Birdman could be traced back to one unknown variant of massive owl. Stories of giant owls stealing away prey in the night have permeated Appalachian lore for generations, and their reflective red eyes and distinctive cry could explain various features of other cryptids. Big Hoot proposes that various airborne cryptozoological sightings could simply be that of a really big owl. So earlier in the iceberg, I threw Owlman at F tier because it's just a carbon copy of Mothman. Big Hoot is a little bit different because it's not a new cryptid sighting happening and someone being like, oh, I think this thing that looks like Mothman is a completely different thing than Mothman. Instead, this is a cryptozoologist theorizing that maybe Mothman and other sightings like Mothman are all the same thing. Either Mothman or Big Hoot, as he calls it. Because of that, I'm going to put it at non-applicable, because as a cryptid, it's just a really big owl that's trying to be Mothman, or that looks like Mothman. So it'd be like a D tier or something.
Fair enough.
What I think is more interesting is the theory that all of these different cryptids that look similar could be the same thing and have some kind of real-world explanation. We know that birds can get as big as things like an albatross, right? So what if an owl got to a size like that? That would explain the red eyes, that would explain it being predatory, etc.
True.
Despite the name being a cute play on Bigfoot, and it is cute, it's a real-world solution to a cryptozoological problem. And again, Big Hoot is just a cute name, so if it's non-applicable, that means I don't have to put it in D tier. After that, we have the Kelpie. One of
I know about
Scotland's most
Kelpies.
famous cryptids, the Kelpie is a shapeshifter that entraps those who come into contact with it and drags them to a watery grave. While early legends of the Kelpie depict it as a shapeshifter capable of taking the form of a beautiful woman in order to lure men to the water's edge, it most often appears in the form of a horse. Most often, the horse's beauty and nature compels passerbys to ride it, only to find themselves stuck to the Kelpie's skin as the beast dives into the lake, ready to drown and eat their rider.
Yeah, that makes
Stories
sense.
of the Kelpie killing several people at once, and exorcisms being performed on suspected horses, along with details of fighting them, including crosses and silver bullets, the Kelpie finds itself fit among the Europe's monsters. A lot of the old stories of the Kelpie are really fun. Like, there's one popular legend where these 10 children go down to the riverside and see a beautiful horse, and 9 of the kids go up to pet the animal, but one of them's afraid of it and decides to stand back, when suddenly, with all 9 of the children's hands attached to the creature, it dives into the water, none of them ever being seen again. There's another variant of the tale where the kids finally coax the 10th child to come up and pet the horse, and as soon as he does, the horse starts to make its way into the water, and in an act of desperation, the 10th child cuts off his own hand before watching his hand and the 9 kids plunge to the depths.
People don't just carry around things to cut off, just cut. Unless, like, no, not in that sort of area. They wouldn't just carry around like a knife. And even if they did, it would have to be an incredibly sharp knife. It takes a lot of effort to cut through skin and bone of a person. Especially if it's like your own hand.
The Kelpie makes its way into a lot of media and things regarding Irish folklore. And then just the idea that in like the 1800s, they thought Kelpies were like demonic, so priests would perform exorcisms on horses that they thought were a Kelpie. Or the idea of men being armed with silver and crosses to defeat any pretty horse they see without a rider it's just funny. Also, the whole idea of being compelled to ride a horse was much more relatable back then than it is now, because horses were the only means of travel, right? And, you know, pretty much everyone had one. So if you were out in the woods and you saw a beautiful horse, that is something that is good for transit and also probably worth a lot of money. So that explains why random people would be compelled to ride them. Doesn't really hit the same now though, because I've never met someone who's like driving down the road and sees a horse and they're like, I have to ride it. Even though design-wise the creature is just a horse, I think it's cool how it can be used in stories, and a lot of interesting things have been done with it historically and through folklore. So I think it's a solid B tier. And then finally, for tier 6, we have a weird one, the Groot slang. Dutch for big snake,
I am Groot.
The Groot slang is said to inhabit a cave in Richtersveld, South Africa. It is, and I'm not kidding, a huge snake with the head of an elephant. The story goes that when the gods first created the world, they made a creature too strong and too smart. They split this creation into 2 creatures, the elephant and the serpent. But one of these original inventions escaped, driven to the earth's depths to hide from the gods and reproduce in spite of its creators.
Heck?
Its offspring make their way into the sea through underground caves, and the original beast guards the countless gems and diamonds within the cave known as the Bottomless Pit. The size and unique nature of this legend ensures the Groot slang will haunt explorers and locals for years to come. The Groot slang is so
that's
weird,
pretty creepy.
and I kind of love it. For one, that origin story, pretty cool, right?
That's
and
pretty
not only
creepy.
is the beast itself terrifying given its massive proportions, but the way that it guards the diamonds of Africa is interesting.
That's just
and
a
I'm
dragon.
kind of surprised I haven't heard it brought up in any narratives around African diamond mining.
I would just say that like the Groot slang is just like that region's type of dragon, except it doesn't fly. Well, then again, you don't need to fly to be a dragon. You don't need to fly to be a dragon. That's pretty cool though. That's pretty cool.
Because with all the controversy around it, you would think someone would use this creature forgotten by time at the bottom of a cave, guarding the diamonds and gems that men desperately tried to get a hold of, would be used for some kind of symbolism or at least naming convention. I don't know, I just feel like the Grootsling is an interesting creature for that, and I've never heard of it before. I could just be dumb and maybe it's used all the time for stuff like that and I'm just stupid, in which case disregard this, but I think it's interesting. Now that being said, as an actual cryptid, yes, it's very weird in that it's a giant elephant snake thing. But aside from its origin, it feels kind of messy. Like, oh, there was only one of them, but there's actually a lot of them because it reproduced. And they're in the
Howdy,
ocean
anime
too,
boss.
but also this one cave, but maybe other caves too. It's got a lot of qualities dragging it up and also a lot dragging it down. So I'm going to call it right in the middle at C tier. Pretty weird, but pretty cool. So it's par for the course. And with that, we have the end of tier 6. Like I said, there were a lot of really cool ones this time. Should have spaced that out, but too late now. A lot of fun ones today, and hopefully one of these was new to you. And if so, that's pretty cool, and I'm glad I could share that with you, and I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope the trend kind of keeps up. Looking ahead at the
That was pretty cool.
next few tiers, I think it does, with some really unique ones, or these fearsome critters that I'm now obsessed with, that do cool things that not a lot of people know about. So I hope we get to talk about more of those. It's fun to talk about the popular ones, like, the Wendigo and Mothman and whatnot, but what I really like doing is talking about ones you probably haven't heard of before, because it's always fun to learn about something new, right?
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to these things that go bump in the night. I think they're pretty cool. And
There were very few of those that I actually heard of before.
hopefully you do too, and thank you for sticking around to this long in the video. I'm going to get editing on this, so hopefully you could see it. As I mentioned, the Legacy of the Mothman poster will be available in a couple days.
Yay.
So stay tuned for an
That'll be
announcement
tomorrow.
about that. 100 of them will be signed. And then once
Because he said the
that 100
23rd.
is sold out, can't get it anymore. And once the pre-sale on this is over, which I think will be like a couple weeks or something, they're gone forever. So get it while you can. Should be available in a couple days from when this video goes up.
Technically
And
I
thank you
stream
all for
full
the support
time.
you've shown me. I remember back when I first started YouTube, I was trying to do like just these print-on-demand t-shirts and stuff like that. And I'm really happy that now I have an audience and connections I've made in the industry that allow me to make stuff that I think you all deserve. And
I'm not gonna say I'll never react to a internet historian video. What I will say is that I don't really know about them all that much. Like, I'm not sure if internet historians like content is the type that I like, because again, I don't really know of them all that much.
and stuff that I would actually want to wear and sell. Like these weird posters, like the cool designs for hoodies and t-shirts and whatever I've been able to do through companies. It really does.
So I may or may
once
not
again,
in
I
the
know that's all
future.
thanks to you all, and I
It will not be
appreciate it.
today though.
So if you went on that, be ready in a couple days. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the Cryptid Iceberg. Another part will be out for it next month, I'm sure. There's a couple other, at least one other video I know I want to get out before then. That should be out before the end of the month. But there's a couple I want to try to get out before the next cryptid one. So we'll see how that goes. Will I overpromise and underdeliver? Probably, but at least it won't be new for the channel. But for real, thank you guys so much for being here. It means the most. Hope you enjoyed.
Yay!
And I believe that should do it for now. But I just want to say thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. And I will see
did
you
enjoy.
in the next one.
That was good.
Bye!
Oh my god. It's little wolf pup. that was the howl. Come on, you can do it. Go on, little pupper. Go on. Oh, you're getting there. You're getting there. That's adorable. Adorable little wolf pupper. So cute. Oh. Good job, pupper. Good job. Yay. So strong and fierce.
This is a good example. This guy put a hole in his wall thinking that AI, Aiden Ross, was real, and he was about to get a Hellcat.
What the
5
heck?
seconds to smash it. You got 5 seconds to smash it.
500 for 500.
5,
Aiden's live, by the way.
4 for 500.
Do it.
3,
Do it.
throw it.
Damn.
Break it more. Break it more.
Yeah.
How
What
about
the heck?
Hellcat? You like Hellcats, right? You like Hellcats?
Yeah, I love Hellcats. I love Hellcats.
Well, it has
All right,
to have a
bro,
hole
what,
in it by
what,
the end
what
of
if
the
I
day.
go? What if I go ask my mom if I could put a hole in the wall for a Hellcat? She say yeah.
Yeah, get it on video. Get it on video. Get it on video. Yeah, get it on-
Record asking your mom if you
Wow.
can put a hole in a wall for a car. And this is all done by AI. This kid's 20 years old. Look at that.
All right, so
Wow. I am so surprised that this idiot got like debated so hard. Damn.
you like dead ass.
Dead ass.
Yeah, dead ass. Go get your mom. Go get your mom. Let me talk to your mom.
Oh my god, you see this lion?
Hey, mama.
The first words.
Hey,
Wow.
mama.
Don't. No, don't. What? Don't. Oh, fuck.
Look, mama. There's something important, right?
Does this
So,
dude just
boom.
have like a history of
I just got this
doing
amazing
dumb
opportunity.
shit?
I'm talking to this YouTube streamer right now. His name.
It is sad, though, right? A little bit, because
Bruh.
you can tell that he's happy. But you should have been more discerning.
He said if I put a hole in the wall, he'll buy me a Hellcat. He right here right now. He want to talk to you.
Yo, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna send him. I'm gonna buy him a Hellcat.
Don't tell me she's gonna just
I'll
get
give him
fooled by
20
this.
grand on top of that.
And you gonna fix that motherfucker too if he don't give it to you.
All right, I got you. I'm gonna fix it. I promise I'm gonna fix it.
He's gonna fix that.
Right on.
There you go. All right, throw it as hard as you can at the wall.
This is for the Hellcat and 20 grand.
That's only a little bit. He could do better than that.
Man, that's fine.
Probably
Man,
hit a
that's
beam.
Get the bat. Get the bat. Get the bat.
Bat, you see that, right?
Get the bat. Get the bat.
Get the
Get
It's not
the
even a
bat.
hole. Yeah.
What? Holy shit. Bruh. What an idiot.
Do you have a TV in your room?
My favorite thing
Bruh.
is the last second.
Do you have a TV in your room?
Oh my god. Oh fuck. Did he get the Hellcat? I bet he didn't. Oh man, I bet he didn't.
Holy
The
crap.
most obese town in America.
Do you know why McAllen's the obesity capital?
The food and they don't walk. People like to eat junk food, chips, McDonald's.
So you gotta be lazy as hell to not even
Wait, so they just go around everywhere in a motor scooter?
walk. Is this
Wait,
like
really?
a McAllen specific thing?
Yeah,
I thought I was in Wally first.
Oh my god.
I was about to say, it's just like in Wall-E. What the heck?
They're all on scooters.
Second until I met this guy.
I lost a brother and sister to diabetes. Got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes as well. That inspired me to write a children's book. The book's called The Adventures of Excellence.
Bro, imagine the motor that thing's gotta have in it if it's a 2-seater. It's a V8, yeah. Got a Hemi in it.
I like exercise. I'm
Holy
trying to do my
crap.
part to get people to change the way they eat. At the start of every
Yeah.
good Mexican dish is a good handful of lard. That beef fajita
Oh.
taco has close to 1,000 calories.
We
Right there.
got a ton of pastries here. Are you ordering here? McAllen. She has diabetes and she's buying the product.
My brother and sister.
That's probably a bad idea.
Holy crap. They're literally eating themselves to death. How do people live like that?
I want to watch this. Where's this from?
and Henry, who passed away. I don't want anybody to have to go through what my family's had to go through.
Yeah.
Eat healthy, exercise.
I then met up with Mark from My 600-Pound Life to see a day in his
Bruh.
life as he tried to lose weight.
My life consisted of here to there to the bathroom. Pretty much just locked in here depressed.
Tap here to see his story.
Yeah, the Chungus state? I guess so. Let me see. I'll pull it up right now. Bro, this thumbnail goes so hard.
Jesus.
fattest city in America 6 years in a row to see if I could find any answers. But first, I needed some breakfast. What a burger!
I bet. Wait. Let me go all the way back.
40% of America is obese. 2 Americans at extreme risk of heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, cancer, and death. But I wondered, why are Americans getting so fat? So I drove to McAllen, Texas, the fattest city in America 6 years in a row, to see if I could find any answers. But first, I needed some breakfast. What a burger! What do people usually...
This is why they're fat. So Whataburger is open all the time. That's why. Yep.
Get for breakfast here?
Number 21.
Okay. So people usually get this for breakfast.
Yeah, it's very popular.
980 calories.
Really?
Is that a lot?
All right, McDonald's breakfast.
That's a lot.
This is a pretty big dude. What did the last guy get?
Yeah.
I'll get whatever he got.
He got a...
Ooh. He gonna go and get whatever the last guy got? Oh, that's not good.
Thank you. Calories in this meal? It's probably 1,000. Breakfast number 3.
Okay.
Holy shit.
Wait a sec. What's going on with the fucking thing?
I have noticed that lately. YouTube is doing like a lot of buffering. Sometimes I have to like refresh the page because it's just being stupid.
Fattening?
Would you like to try the loaded breakfast?
Is that what a lot of people get?
Yeah.
Alright, breakfast for real. After scarfing down a fattening 1,000-calorie plus breakfast an average American might eat on their way to work,
Jesus.
I wondered if the local
Bruh.
restaurants here were any healthier. What do people
They're
typically
probably
get here
worse.
for breakfast?
Dave's breakfast. 2 eggs.
Dave's breakfast? Yo quiero uno, por favor.
Syrup? Pancakes?
Sí, un poquito, sí, sí. It's a big old breakfast.
Jesus.
My God. It's like
Why are you doing this to yourself, my dude?
Jesus, that's
sausage,
a lot.
bacon, eggs, this.
Like, you know what I have for breakfast? Nothing, because I don't eat breakfast.
That. My guess is probably 3,000 calories.
That's a
right here.
lot
Oh,
of
shit,
food.
caramel. Wild. With the local restaurant's breakfast here no better than the fast food, I went to the nearby mall to ask the locals here why all the food down here is so fattening, but I found this instead. I'm not sure who's
Bro, it's like one of those go-kart places. I've seen this before, but it was
What
at a
the
go-kart
heck?
place.
renting these, but you have giant scooters, so you gotta be lazy as hell to not even walk.
Wow.
All right, I'm renting one.
I mean, like, where there's a market, right? Whoever made those scooters, they're like, you know what? There's a lot of fat people in this place. What if they could rent a scooter? Yeah, we could get a lot of money doing that. That's basically how it went.
I cannot believe this is real. Let's interview the locals. Do a lot of people rent these scooters at the mall?
Yeah.
Yeah? Is this like a McAllen specific thing?
Yeah.
I do feel like Nikocado avocado right now, I'll be honest.
Jesus, man.
This sure is something else.
Is like, I wonder, like, I bet, like, people in, like, China must love watching this shit and being like, yep, that's Americans. They're so fat.
It's not just Americans, it's also Europeans. Specifically, Britain. I believe Britain is one of the fat ones.
They're so fat and lazy. Latin America too. Yeah, I bet. Yeah, this is absolutely what it is. I bet people love to watch this in other places in the world.
Avocado right now, I'll be honest. Cruising on a scooter built to help morbidly obese people move around the mall. I thought I was in Wall-E for a second, but the question was, do you know why McAllen's the obesity capital?
The food, and they don't walk.
Why are people so big?
What do you mean they?
It's true.
Like, I'm not trying to be mean, but what do you mean they?
It's a very simple reason why people get fat. They don't exercise enough and they eat too much. Simple as that. Simple as that.
People like to eat junk food.
Should
like
be
chips or McDonald's and all that stuff.
And then, out of nowhere, I met this guy. Yeah, do you have any thoughts? Yeah. All right, let's hear it. What's your name?
Oh, David.
David, how you doing, David?
Good. I'm a children's book author, actually.
Okay, tell me about it. What's going on?
Can I have you get recorded?
Un momento, por favor. It's to help the nation. You want to go outside?
Yeah, man.
You want to hop on here? All right, tell me about yourself. What's going on?
So yeah,
Isn't that crazy how like the way a normal person deals with recording in a public place is that the security guard just comes up to them and says, please leave, and then they just start leaving and it's not a problem? Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow.
Like, I wonder if...
There's a bunch of people that could definitely learn from that. That's for sure. Also, they are actually allowed to record as much as they want because it's a public place. It is a place open to everyone, so they can record as much as they damn well please. Welcome to
the kids
America.
that are streaming on Kick know about this. Yeah, that is nuts. Why? How does this happen? And there's not like an altercation. There's nothing got broken. Wow. Aren't you allowed to film in public? Yeah, you are, but this isn't public. This is a private place. So generally here in the US, like, you're allowed to film in private places, but if they tell you to stop, you have to stop. That's like the generally accepted behavior.
I lost a brother and sister to diabetes.
Okay.
And so, you know, I got diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
It's a place of business. Yeah, it's a public mall. Just because something is open to the public does not mean it is a public place. It's pretty simple.
As well, and so that inspired me to write a children's book that encourages kids to eat healthy and exercise. The book is called The Adventures of Exo and Psy, like exercise.
I like that.
And so Exo and Psy live in
the big burger.
The big burger. Burger.
Oh my god.
Burger.
Chips.
a town called OB City, like obesity, where the mayor is Diabetes or Diabetes. I'm trying to do my part
That's a
to
good
get
one.
people to change the way they eat.
Do you have any place maybe you could show us around here, McAllen?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah?
I'd love to.
Yeah, you're a blessing.
No, you guys seriously are a blessing, man.
Right on. So David agreed to show me some of the reasons and places making the people of McAllen so fat.
Okay, so from birth to adulthood, why are people getting fat out here?
It's the food, it's the Mexican culture. It's like at the start of every good Mexican dish is a good handful of lard. I'm not joking with that. Refried beans, rice, tortillas.
Jesus, what the fuck? You gonna eat that shit? Oh my god.
But then you got that mentality where, you know, you have to finish everything on your plate. This is, see right here, this is, you can see all those pastries right there. And
We got a ton of pastries here.
Jesus.
This is a diabetes speed run, right?
Oh yeah.
Look at that right there.
Diabetes speed run.
Yeah, but you know what? They make a lot of money. So they keep doing it. Simple as that.
Oh man.
I legitimately don't understand how people can like afford to be so obese. Like I was never at the sort of level that a lot of the people in this video were, 'cause holy shit. I guess maybe I'm just too active compared to them.
Bro, they got these strawberries cut up like they're like roses and shit. Look at that. You see that? Oh man, this is something special.
Mm-hmm.
This place truly is obese. Like
over 40% of the population down here in the Rio Grande Valley is either diabetic or pre-diabetic.
Look at that. Let's see the tacos here.
Let's see the tacos.
Pre-diabetic.
Why don't they just stop eating so much food? I don't really see the problem. Why don't they just do that? Because like if you're having a diabetic thing, why don't you stop eating so much fucking food? They're addicted?
Not entirely wrong. That's not entirely wrong. Food addiction can be said to be like a real thing, but medically speaking, it's not. Food addiction isn't really a real thing. However, if you get like the perfect storm of like really, really tasty stuff, then it'll be really hard to go to and eat like healthy stuff. Because generally speaking, healthy stuff doesn't taste as good as other stuff. Unless you're like built different, I guess.
Well, so I guess they're just gonna die. Fuck. All right, well, that's it. What? That's all there is to it.
Yeah, on one hand, it's the whole idea of like, well, I'll just eat whatever the hell I want, and if I die, I die. But on the other hand, it's like, yeah, but like, I don't want to feel like shit. Just going about my daily life. Right? If a doctor is telling me, hey, you need to change this stuff, otherwise it'll be bad for your health, then, well, doctors are there to, like, make you healthy, right? I would think that they know what they're talking about.
You know what? I hope that this is, y'all know, like, I'm real, like, I have to hide my power level a lot. I wonder if he goes to a funeral home to see if they have extra large caskets. And then he asks them, like, how many of them do you sell? You know, like they do. Yeah, like, what is it exactly? Is
I would
it like
not be surprised
a
if they
shipping
did.
container or something like that? It's bad.
Might eat for lunch here?
Yeah.
Look at the calories. God damn. How you doing?
Yeah.
Yes, what's up? Oh, we're filming a documentary about obesity in America, and we're showcasing the tacos here.
Yeah.
As a prime facilitator of obesity.
Oh, she's not gonna
and in
like
turn,
that.
premature.
Ooh.
Yeah. We'll be
I love how he just explains it to her perfectly.
Not wrong either. Not wrong at all. Oh my goodness. I am so glad that I got my diet in check. I'm so glad that I'm living a more healthy lifestyle. I mean, granted, I still don't exercise, but at least I eat a lot better. Oh my goodness. So glad I'm losing weight.
quick.
That beef fajita taco has close to 1,000 calories right there.
Got it.
Because she's thinking to herself, yeah, so he's shitting on us, but like, I don't own this place.
Panaderia.
Panaderia, they just serve a lot of Mexican bakery goods.
And you'll notice one thing too, no calorie count out here.
EBT is a SNAP also, so you can imagine, you know, the government's allowing people to come and use food stamps.
It's like, I'm sorry, but like, if you are at a bakery...
Bruh, they accept EBT? That should not be allowed. I know for a fact that here in Ohio, they do not accept EBT for any food that's already pre-made, like cooked food, right? If it's something that you have to like assemble, you can get that. Like you could get the ingredients for a sandwich, but you can't buy like a pre-made sandwich. Does that make sense? And you can't get like fried chicken. You can't get like burgers and shit, right? Because that's pre-made food. They don't accept EBT for those. But like if you get lunch meat and you would get bread and like all your other condiments and stuff, all that stuff you can get on your EBT. But not stuff that's already made.
Getting little cookies out the bakery. What
That's
are you
messed up,
doing
yo.
thinking about calories?
How do they allow EBT to be spent there?
What are you doing thinking about them fucking calories? Wait, you get it.
Also, how does anyone get fat on EBT? You only get like $200 a month. How can anyone get fat on that? I don't understand that. That's crazy, man.
The fuck out of the bakery. You're worried about calories. What are you trying to do? You think you're fooling anybody with that shit?
Except EBT
They look
here.
good though. Yeah, they're all
Government is
good.
funding diabetes and obesity.
We accept EBT.
Are you ordering here?
No. I disagree with that real quick. I disagree with the idea that the government should try to means test every single person for buying different things out of the store. It's a massive waste of resources. It would cost more resources than it would save.
True.
Like it would just like I think everybody agrees that like anytime that you see a hog with a bunch of little Debbies in a basket and they pull out their fucking their special card, their food stamps card, like that makes you a bit mad. Like definitely, right? But like regulating that is too much work.
True.
What are you getting? Por
Concha, two conchas.
Tenemos una investigación diabetes in McAllen.
Diabetes, but I
¿Tú tienes
control.
diabetes?
My daughter and my grandson
Sí.
want concha there.
Sí, she has diabetes and she's buying the product.
Yeah, she's buying.
Well, she's overweight. Look at her. She's fat. You just look at yeah, of course. Case closed. I mean, like, really? Like, nobody noticed this?
Grandson want concha there.
Sí, she has diabetes and she's buying the product.
Yeah, she's buying it. I think for her daughter, her granddaughter. Yeah.
I doubt it. She's probably gonna have a snack of that too, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Where should we head to next? Maybe
Yeah.
a taqueria?
Okay.
Vamos! A Papa Taco. Every variation of taco imaginable. I'll try one birria. Gracias. All right.
I will tell y'all, if you want to go to a good Mexican restaurant, you want to go to a place where the menu is a picture, like they show, like they basically went and they took a picture of every dish on like an iPhone from 2011, and that's the entire menu. It's just different pictures of dishes.
Or just go to like a taco truck. They usually know what they're doing.
That's what you want to go for. And if you go somewhere like that, you're going to get some good fucking food.
So calorías.
I live in Texas.
Yeah.
I'm in
that's
Austin.
Nice. That hits. Big old bite. I gotta say, I am mind blown. This is so tasty, but I know for a fact this is like 1,000-calorie nuke.
And after experiencing this fattening food firsthand, David invited me to his house to show me the reason he's so passionate about all this.
Okay.
But as an experiment, I wanted to see if I could snag food at the drive-thru in less than 60 seconds on my way over there, proving that I could
Look at
snag to
that,
show me
bro,
the
like-
reason he's so passionate about all this. But as an experiment, I wanted to see if I could snag food at the
Jesus, man. He just going in on there. That's a Taco Bell, right? I'm pretty sure that's a Taco Bell. He's going for the big bills, too, because I think that's a 1.
drive-thru in less than 60 seconds on my way
Man.
over there, proving that fast food is too easy to get your hands on, thus making America fat.
Just to show you how dangerous
It's true.
and quick
I actually, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to have another maybe unpopular take. I completely disagree with this. I think that the problem is self-control. Nobody else is at fault because you're a fat piece of shit and you can't stop eating McDonald's.
Also true.
No. No, it's not McDonald's fault that you keep eating their hamburgers. Stop it. Stop eating them. I like McDonald's.
I also like McDonald's.
I think it's great. But I ain't getting a McDouble every day, 3 of them.
fast food.
Also, they don't have McDoubles anymore. They just have double cheeseburgers. They got rid of the McDoubles because reasons, I guess. I don't know what the reasons are, but they got rid of them a while ago. Back when they were on the dollar menu. You remember that? Oh my god. I remember the dollar menu. There's no value meal menu anymore for anywhere. Because it's all expensive as shit. Unfortunately.
I want to see if I can get my fast food order before I share with you this video's sponsor, Raid Shadow Legends.
Hello.
Can I get one
Hi,
McDouble,
Raid.
please? That'll be it. The free-to-play mobile game with over 80 million downloads, insane graphics, over 650 champions to collect,
insane
epic boss
graphics?
battles.
You can
and
probably
it's
whale
Raid's
and Raid
4th
Shadow
birthday.
Legends for the same
Hello.
price as a
Thank
McDouble
you.
now.
Me and my favorite champion, Gallic, have been through a lot since I downloaded Raid almost 4 years ago.
Orcs are my favorite faction by far.
Appreciate it. And ever since, Raid has gotten bigger and better,
adding more and more
Play it?
features
Shall I play
like
this?
live arena PvP.
Raid Shadow
one of my
Legends, more like
favorites. So,
If you
scam,
haven't joined
scam,
Raid yet,
scam.
click the link in the description or scan the QR code here to get epic bonuses.
You know what would go so hard is if Raid Shadow Legends just made a AAA level MMORPG for PC. It would cost like probably $1 billion, but I think it would get a lot of people to play the mobile game and they'd make their money back.
I don't know
They
about
should
that
just do
one,
that, just
but
like real quick, like make
Sure.
a game that's like as good as Elden Ring, and then people will start playing the mobile game too. Like still, like Nikke, yeah, like Nikke enabled Stellar Blade. It's like all the Nikke simps fund the game.
Ike, Talia the champion,
Grand Blue, yeah,
and other
Grand Blue.
in-game
Look at
loot. Thank
Relink.
you so much. We got the order. Thank you. Click the link in the description to download Raid now. I got my order in almost 1 minute.
So this video came out a year ago, so the price of the McDouble is probably only about half as what it is now.
Ridiculously fast and way too convenient, thus leading to a nation full of obese people.
No, it's not. That's not. You think because somebody gives you a hamburger? People could, if I had a magic wand and if I could use this sword right here and I could cut through reality and I could like fucking reach into the Taco Bell
how you doing, Yoko?
Kitchen and just pull out cinnamon rolls, that's my fault if I'm eating all the cinnamon rolls. It's not Taco Bell's fault that I keep buying cinnamon rolls.
It's true. He's absolutely right. It is a self-control issue. I, myself, have had a lot of self-control issues. That's why I got so heavy in the first place. Self-control is, like, one of those things that's, like, adjacent to discipline. Because if you don't discipline yourself, or if someone doesn't discipline you, then what's stopping you from, like, making bad decisions, right?
That's not, nope, nope. You gotta learn some accountability.
Yeah. No one wants to take accountability for anything these days. It's all the government's fault. It's all fast food's fault. It's all this person's fault. All that person's fault. And, like, bruh. Hey, welcome, Sadra. Welcome, welcome. How you doing? The topic is obesity. This is an Asmongold video. This is like a documentary about the most obese city in America.
Is it real? Is it a real sword? I mean, like, what do you mean by real? Like, it's some fucking pink sword I bought for Kaisi whenever she was here and I went to an anime convention. She wanted to walk around with a sword. I was like, fuck. So I had to buy the sword for her. Sharp? No, it's not sharp at all.
Proving
Actually,
food is
I
too
think
accessible
maybe
in
she bought that for
America, I
herself, I
made
don't
it to
remember.
David's house so he could show me why he's so passionate about destroying obesity.
Started doing it for these two people right here. That's my brother and sister, Mary and Henry, who passed away from diabetes. So I don't want anybody to have to go through what my family's had to go through, losing a brother and a sister, having another sister go blind. It's a really tough thing to see with the people that you love most. Eat healthy, exercise, and good things are going to happen.
Okay.
How many life checks, reality checks, does it take for you to understand that you need to change if you want to, like, be happy, to live healthy? How many life checks do you need?
I had the same thing happen to my mom. Like, she just would not exercise. She would not take care of herself. And she paid the price for it. That's what it was. I was so sad seeing that shit happen. And it happened my whole life, too. Like, even whenever I was a little kid, like, as soon as I learned, like, a little bit about, like, health and biology, I was like, wait, well, then why don't you try to lose weight? And she's like, oh, well, you know, it's not my fault. And there's, like, all these other reasons why it's, you know, why I can't do it.
Those are just excuses. Stop making excuses and just do something. Just do something. So many people make excuses for not exercising or for eating poorly. That's just what they are, excuses. If you're having trouble, like, walking, that's not an excuse to not exercise at all. You know what you could do instead of walking? You could just flop your arms around. Just flop your arms around until you get tired. Guess what that is? Exercise. And you know what? It works. I remember reading a story about this guy on Reddit. He was, like, really upset about being super overweight and he couldn't really go a lot of places. And he asked Reddit, what should I do? What should I do? How do I do this? I can't just exercise like a normal person. And that was someone's suggestion. Just flop your arms around. Yeah, it looks goofy as shit, but hey, that's exercise. It works. You gotta start somewhere. You got to start somewhere. Right? Everyone only has so much time to live their current life. Why would you willingly go and make such horrible decisions for your body? Oh, food tasty, yum yum. Yes, that is an aspect, of course. Duh. However, when you start having trouble moving around, just in your daily life, you know that you need to make a change. Don't let yourself get to that point. Just take control of your life instead of living like that. That's how I feel anyways. And yeah, I'm also worried about my family, you know. Specifically my mother. She's also overweight and she can't move around like doing normal exercise because her foot's fucked up. And I keep making her the suggestion, just flop your arms around. Flop your arms around. And she never does it. I'm just worried for her, you know?
And it just sucks, man. It really does. But it's about self-control. That's an argument McDonald's used to justify selling its addicting fatty food. Yeah, and I agree with their argument. I don't want to baby people. I don't want to micromanage people. People have the right to do what they want to do with their life, but it doesn't make it good. I'm sorry. That's just that's life, man. You can't protect people from themselves forever. Sorry, but I disagree. See, like, you think that you disagree, but you actually don't. Because, like, you only disagree because this logic is being applied to something that you agree with. But you actually only agree with the application of the logic and not the logic itself. Because the moment that somebody uses that logic to justify telling you, you are in my stream every day, Conrad. I see you every fucking day. And they go and they tell you that, you know, you now have a minimum or maximum level of time that you can watch Twitch streams every single day or every week, and then you can't do the thing you want to do, you're going to start crying about it. You're going to start getting mad about it because it is, again, people looking out for your best interests. And you know what? Just like with the fast food, they're right. You're wasting your life watching the stream, but you're enjoying yourself and you're happy. So which one is more important? I think this is the same situation. You're being mentally fat. These other people are just physically fat.
There's this thing called consequences to your actions. All actions have an equal and opposite reaction, right? So if you eat a lot of food, guess what happens? Exactly. If you don't burn those calories, where do they go? Exactly.
You need to think, you got to think farther than like just like what you want. If you're trying to act like this is a good idea. Yeah.
People are too obsessed with like living in the now. They need to think of their future. They absolutely need to think of their future. Never experienced consequences to my actions. Vomits in the morning. Mouse. Oh no. Oh no. I hope you feel better soon. Oh my god.
He's mentally fat. Like, that's the thing. And like a lot of people, I'm mentally fat. Like a lot of people are mentally fat.
I am absolutely mentally fat. It is so hard to have any semblance of self-control. Generally, the majority of my self-control is spent on, like, not spending money. Right? I gotta, you know, just be frugal. Because what if I need my money? Gotta save it in case I actually need it. Sure, I could buy, like, Chipotle, like, every other week. But, like, that's a lot of calories. And it's very expensive. Sure, it's delicious. But, bruh.
It does have hope.
After seeing obesity kill David's family, I flew to Florida to meet a guy named Mark who was on TLC's My 600-Pound Life and weighed over 700
How can
pounds.
anyone
At the
live
end
like
of the show,
that?
he lost 200
How?
pounds.
Good
And the
for him.
doctor told him the only way he could lose more weight was to get a stomach reduction surgery.
We're in Orlando, Florida. We're meeting.
See, that's not entirely accurate. The thing is, with how it works, you don't have to get a stomach reduction surgery. It's just that a lot of people are too mentally weak to tough out hunger. They have no resistance to hunger. And once people get used to eating a certain amount, eating like certain like times per day or whatever, it's very difficult to reduce that because you get used to it. I had that problem myself. I used to eat 3 large meals every day. I had to have a big meal as soon as I got up. I had to have a big meal like 3 hours after. And then another 3 hours after that, big meal. It was awful. It was really awful. But I got a life check and I eat significantly less now. It was not easy. It was not easy at all. Even with medication to help me, it wasn't easy. However, nowadays, it's so much easier to just like tough through it. Like, I realize now that instead of having a big meal in the morning, I could just like have a little snack. Just a little bit of food. You don't need a lot of food. It's okay to be a little bit hungry after a meal. You don't have to fill up your belly to like the brim every time you eat. Yes, it does feel good to get full, but you don't need to. And in most cases, it's actually worse for you. I mean, there can be a lot of other issues that means a person is fat. Unfortunately, remember a woman who wanted to maintain healthy eating, but in order to do that, she'd have to eat a dangerously low number of calories, just unfortunately the way her body worked. Was she also exercising? Was she exercising? That's the biggest question. Because if she was not exercising, then of course she's not going to lose weight. You can only reduce your calories so much. You can only reduce your calories so much to lose weight, right? At some point, you will have to exercise if you want to lose weight. My mom got stomach reduction surgery. She just ended up with more calorie-dense foods like ice cream and oils. Bro, that doesn't sound great at all. Which is why I understand body positivity, but at the same time, there's folks that take the piss with it. Yeah, that's true. I think she was, because that's what also made it stand out to me. Yeah, but the thing is, conditions where you can't really lose weight easily, those are a lot more rare than people think it is. Those are actually fairly rare. Like an actual medical issue where you can't lose weight, or if you do, it'll like cause real problems for your body. Those are fairly rare conditions. Most people are just lazy. They have no discipline. It sucks. It really sucks. And I'm part of most people. That's why I have medicine. That helps. I'm taking Ozempic. It really, really, really helps. But I would lose weight significantly faster if I were to exercise every day. My doctor told me that if I were to do like some sort of cardio exercise, get my heart rate up, do it 20 minutes a day, that would be ideal. 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. That's what I was told. I mean, if a doctor says it, it's probably right. And I know for a fact that it works. I know it works because I've done it before. I've done it before, back in 2015. I was over 400 pounds in 2015 at the start. How do I know that? Because, well, first time I got weighed in, when I started like doing exercise and stuff, I was at 386 pounds, and I had already lost some weight. Yeah, 386 pounds. That's fucking fat. I've lost a lot of weight since then. Even during 2015. During 2015, I went from that 386 to, I believe I petered out around 270, which is around when where our elliptical machine broke. So I kind of had to stop doing my usual exercise. I had gotten to the point where I would do exercise on the elliptical around an hour every day. And I was feeling great. I was feeling wonderful. I would just like watch something while I was doing my exercise. And I was just blasting through it. But the moment, well, not the moment, after I couldn't do the same type of exercise and the same amount, I got lazy. And I can only substitute for it so much. I was counting my calories and everything. Counting calories, having like specific meals that I would eat, portioned out. And I would exercise the same amount. But then I couldn't do the exercise anymore because the equipment broke down. Yeah. After a while, well, for a while rather, I kept losing weight a little bit, but then eventually it just kind of like stopped the weight loss. And then because I wasn't as active anymore, I just started gaining weight again. It really sucked. It really, really sucked. After all of that effort to lose weight, I couldn't regain that discipline to start again. It really, really sucked. And I still haven't regained that discipline. What do you call the lowest scoring medical professional to graduate med school? I don't know. I have no idea. Anyways, let's continue the video.
Up with Mark, see what a day in his life looks like. Right now he's 487 pounds. We're gonna see what got him.
That's pretty good, man. That's pretty fucking good. That's 200 pounds. That's like almost 2 of me. Hey, like, yeah. Like, now, it's not good. You know, it's not. It is. It is. He lost 200 pounds, man. That's incredible. That's amazing. That's so good.
True.
And what advice you might have for others. Yeah, how you doing? So your name's Mark.
Mark, yes, sir.
You were on the show, My 600-Pound Life, on TLC.
Right.
And he's walking around. He's getting around. Again, it's terrible he weighs this much. It's really, really bad.
True.
But it's good that he's improving.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's a big dude. He's probably like, what, 6'6", 6'7"?
Holy shit.
Lose 160 pounds
You go to the doctor and he says, hey, now you're at the point where we want you to do the weight reduction surgery, right?
Yeah, I did everything the doctor asked. I lost weight. He's like, okay,
There it
cool,
is.
you're approved for surgery. It's like, well, hold up. I'm kind of feeling this right now. Let me do this. He's like, okay, we'll go again. Go lose another 50 pounds. And I lost like 40 pounds.
Wow.
It's like, okay, cool. Great job. Let's get you into surgery.
And the surgery is a stomach reduction surgery?
Yeah, they cut your stomach.
Okay.
He said I have a 5% chance with the surgery and a 0% chance without.
Okay.
And I knew that my work ethic alone is going to eliminate that 5% gap. So,
Sure.
You.
When did the weight get put on?
The pandemic broke me.
Okay. And this is where everything goes to shit.
This is it, man.
Okay. Let's walk through. That's cool. You lose your job and you're gaining a bunch of weight.
My life consisted of here to there, to the bathroom, to my chair, out here, to the front door.
Are you just locked in?
Yeah, I know kind of like what this feels like in a way, because like this kind of what happened with my teeth is that like I didn't take care of my teeth and I had a really bad diet and it kind of got worse. And you know, like back, you know, I was like 20, I didn't really have the money to like get all that shit taken care of whenever it did, so it kind of just got worse. And I remember whenever I got like you know, I finally went to the dentist because it was like really bad, and they told me it would be like 40-50 grand to get everything fixed. And it was like it's like at that moment like I wanted to kill myself, because I was like, I at this point have like irreversibly damaged my life in a way that I can never undo. And it was like the first time that I did that to myself in game. No, I mean, I'm like, guys, we're just having, everybody here is like, most people that watch the show is like, they're 30 years old. Like, no, I'm not going to talk around shit. That's the way I felt.
Generally, if you're in your 30s, you've probably considered suicide at least once. It really sucks. Mental health is very important. Seek help if you need it.
And so, yeah, 50K is insane. There's a lot of shit that was bad. It was really bad. And so, like, whenever I think to myself, like, I irreversibly damaged my life, I bet he probably feels the same way. Because, like, even if he does get the surgery and he does all this shit, like, it will still fuck him up.
True.
Like, he's going to be fucked up from this for a long time. Do you brush every day now? I brush every single fucking day. I never miss a day. If I fall asleep, before I go back to bed, I get up, I brush my teeth. Every fucking day.
I don't brush my teeth. I also don't have, like, sugary sodas, though. So, there's that. Yeah, I don't brush my teeth. I have all of my teeth, including my wisdom teeth. Yeah, no cavities. I guess I'm just built different.
You floss too? I use the bristles, get in between some of them. I don't really traditionally floss because of the way that some of my teeth are made. But yeah. How many times a day? Once. But it probably, realistically, I'm going to be real, it should be twice. I should be doing it twice.
This is my world. For me to go all the way, all the way to the other side of this little baby pool right
yeah.
Killed me.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I would just like to point out that this dude had 6 waffles and syrup. Bruh. Do you know how many calories that is? Holy shit. Holy shit. I mean, granted, they do make syrups these days that are like really low calorie because they replace the sugar with something else, like a different kind of sweetener. But damn, man. Damn.
Yeah. So this is the graveyard of bad memories right here. This couch. This is.
Yeah, I had the same thing happen with my mom. I remember, like, you know, she couldn't go from like her bedroom to like the kitchen without having to take a break for like a minute. It was so sad, man.
That's
it was
fucked up.
awful.
Where life was
Holy
for a
shit.
long time.
Yeah, I used to be an athlete, man.
Yeah.
I could do the splits now.
Can I see it?
Jesus, good for
I
him.
wanted to understand how Mark got to 700 pounds in the first place.
Can we pull up DoorDash? This is the COVID depression menu. We got McDonald's, 7-Eleven, McDonald's.
Racist. I mean, these are good.
Holy
crap. Man, that's hard. How's that $26? This? Because it's got the triple dot, man. Oh, this.
Double cheeseburger, French fries, Dr. Pepper, vanilla shake. That's all? Oh, right, because it's DoorDash, because it's a delivery. Yeah. Yeah. Everything is marked up when you get it delivered. Everything.
Yeah, what the fuck? Double cheeseburger, French fries, Dr. Pepper, and a vanilla shake. What the fuck? Did he go to Five Guys? $26 fucking dollars. You kidding me? That's a tip, maybe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that on these apps, the tip is like automatic or something. I don't know.
2 sausage biscuits, 2 sausage McMuffin, hash brown, Dr. Pepper. That's for your breakfast. Wendy's, bacon.
That is way too much food to have for breakfast. Like, of that menu, you know what I would have for breakfast? Either just the sandwich or just the fries. Because realistically, that's all you would need. Some days I would probably only have like half the sandwich. That's way too much food. It's too much food.
And a Baconator combo. You get the
you get 2 of them.
Little Caesars.
I could never get into Baconators. I think they got too much cheese. Little Caesars pizza. What's that here? Pepsi 2-liter, extra meat pepperoni. It's, you know what's so crazy to me is the fact that Little Caesars is one of the only real ones left.
True.
$7 for a pizza, man. That's so good.
Very true. That's what the extra meat. If you get like a regular cheese pizza or pepperoni pizza, they used to be $5 hot and readies. I believe they've gone up to $6, but still, that is so good. That is a really good price. Like, consider this. For $5-6, getting an entire large pizza versus going to, like, for example, McDonald's or Chipotle, and the same amount of food would probably cost you about like $15. That is a massive difference. That's a massive difference. You get your value with that shit. That's for sure.
You remember the $5 hot and readies? I used to live on that shit.
Right?
Because it was I remember every Tuesday. And what was raid day? It was Tuesday.
Oh, there you go.
I would drive up there. I would get myself a fucking pizza. And then I would get a drink at McDonald's for $1. And then I would have a full fucking meal for $6 for me and my mom. And then I would go up. I would eat the
Hell
pizza.
yeah, let's go.
Raid. I did that shit for like 5 years.
Little Caesars is goated.
Pizza.
And this is all on the same day.
Yeah. As soon as they contacted me back, I was like, all right, it's time to go to work.
Got it.
Going to work at the time was literally me.
Basically, Mark is saying that when my 600-pound life asked him
I mean, you think about how much weight he's lifting there. I mean, I couldn't do that.
True.
You know, like...
That's one thing I can definitely say for sure. My legs are strong as fuck, bro. Holy shit. After carrying so much weight for such a long time, I got hella strong legs. My knees, on the other hand, my knees have suffered greatly. My knees have been creaking since I was like 15. That's how bad it was.
Yeah, that's a lot.
to be on the show, he knew he had to get healthy or he was gonna die.
As soon as I get up and I put on my shoes, socks, head out the door, I go to the gym. This is my breakfast right here. I'm not trying to lose 50 pounds to look good on a vacation. I'm fighting for my mind. You tell somebody laying in a hospital bed,
he's
if
an
you
old
work
dude.
hard, you're determined, and you stay
He's probably
consistent,
like 45,
you can
50.
change your life. I guarantee you every single person would stand up and fight to do that.
So I went to the gym with Mark to experience an average day in his fight to become healthy again.
Drove by 8 times, took me the 9th time to come in. The other day at the office.
Let's go, Mark. Prove this.
It's good to see, like, I remember back whenever, you know, social media started to pop off, people would always take pictures of fat people in gyms to, like, joke around with them. I'm glad that that kind of fell off. Like, nobody really does that anymore.
Thank goodness. Why do you think fat people go to the gym? To lose weight like everyone else. Duh. Instead of shaming someone for going to the gym because they're fat, you should be celebrating them. They're getting their life in order. Don't be a dick, simple as that.
Holy. I'm gonna pass it. Gassed after Mark's workout, I had a lot more sympathy for what he goes through on a daily basis. And as Mark and I drove back to his parents' house, Mark did something he thought he'd never be able to do again. What's up?
I don't think.
Oh, seatbelt?
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna fit on me though.
6-minute drive. Okay.
I haven't worn a seatbelt.
That is crazy that is even a problem. I never even thought of that. God damn. Yeah, good for him. That
Always wear your seatbelt. Always. Safety first.
Fuck, man. God damn. He's gonna make it. He got a ways to go till he's gonna make it, right? He got to lose probably at least another 200 pounds minimum.
True.
Like this dude's like 50, man. Yeah, I mean
It ain't gonna be easy.
He gotta do it, but I mean, you know, like Boogie got that surgery, and Boogie, I love Boogie, but that dude has no self-control.
True.
And
Boogie has ruined his fucking life because of his lack of self-control.
And he lost a lot of weight. And I remember even whenever it happened, like Wings called him out on it. Wings of Redemption. He said, you should have lost even more. He's still fat. Yeah, I know. So like this guy is controlling it on his own. So I think if this guy gets the surgery, he'd be fine.
Years, bro.
Actually?
For real, yeah.
Baby, all right.
For real.
That's kind of great.
Kind of feel almost normal.
Hell yeah, man.
Don't give up, man.
With the click of Mark's seatbelt echoing in my ears, I realized that if a 700-pound man can turn his life around, then so can America.
Well,
this is such a good video.
I agree.
What the fuck? This was amazing. Here, I'll link it to you guys. That was so good. I had no idea about this. Yeah, great video. There's a video. Give it a like. That was so good.
That was a good
Insane.
video.
Yeah, feels good video. Yeah, I was worried that it was gonna be like, because usually the end of these stories is like somebody dies or some shit, right? Like that's actually so nice.
I'm sure that Asmon has the
stomach
link.
surgery, had a loss
Yeah,
of
he
weight.
has the
She
link
still
in
gains
his,
some whenever she eats too much. There's control involved, definitely. Yeah, definitely.
If you guys would like to go and support him, here's the link to Asmon's video. And it also has... Oh, that's my watch later list. I can't delete that. How do I I can't delete my own message. Good job, me. Thank you for the follow. Welcome. It's this button. Share. Hold on, let me get the proper... What? Where? Oh, there we go. Copy. Here's the proper link. There you go. And also on YouTube. Boop. Put it in there. There it is. If you guys want to support Asmon Gold, feel free to go over there. If you want to support the dude that did that video, links right there. Yeah.
That's the way I see it too. Good video. Yeah, I would say so.
Thanks, Mouse.
Isn't that confirmation bias? As long as I want to support you losing weight, some people just need different assistance than being told that you can do it. Well, I think that this is the truth, right? Is some people do need different kinds of help, but one thing I think is true is that if you don't actually care about losing the weight, it will not happen.
True. Absolutely true. And myself personally, I have very little self-discipline. I have horrible self-control. I've always had this sort of mindset of like, unless someone is telling me to do something, I'll just kind of like forget and just not do certain things, right? Even if it's something like as basic as saying hello or good morning to someone, I'll just completely forget. Right? I don't know if that's like an ADHD thing or if that's just a lack of discipline. So I can't really say for sure, but it's always been a problem for me. Like back when I was dating, for example, I would almost never actually like go and say good morning or like even talk until like I was talked to, because like it's the idea of out of sight, out of mind, right? You would think that when dating someone, that person would always be on your mind, right? You want to do everything with them and like all that jazz, but I couldn't. I never could. Yeah, I would love to do stuff with my loved ones if that were possible, but again, out of sight, out of mind. My brain literally would not allow me to think about things that weren't directly in my mind, because how my day consists of, well, how it did consist of, was basically just like wake up, eat food, either read manga, play games, or like watch something either on YouTube or like a movie, TV series, something like that, whatever. And because of such a solo lifestyle, I didn't really think of other people all that much. Nowadays, I have improved. I've improved. That doesn't mean that it's the best that it could be, but I've definitely improved. Not sure, but I just trimmed the hemline of my work pants and it took me all day. Fair. Some people just enjoy relaxing. Yeah, exactly.
Like, it doesn't matter how many people support you or anything like that. Like you have to take accountability for it. So it's like there are factors that are outside of your control, but that doesn't mean that those factors are why it's happening. At the end of the day, somebody can only be accountable for themselves.
True.
And like you can blame, oh, it's, you know, an addiction. It's sugar. It's the culture. It's the easy access of fast food. But at the end of the day, you either overcome that or you die.
Absolutely.
That's it. Like, there's literally two options. So you pick which one you want to go with, and that's all there is to it.
It's literally just control yourself or die. Like, it can't be any easier to understand than that.
Addiction isn't a choice. Yeah, but getting rid of it is. There's people that overcome addiction all the time. Like, that's it. Like, and if you don't, hey, man, hey, if you don't, that's fine. You just die. There's plenty of people out in the world. It's okay. Just die. Yeah.
Hunter. All right, before we continue, it is time for a break. Been going 2 hours. It is break time. All right, let's get the lo-fi going. Pop. That is loud initially, but it'll be fine. All right, see you guys soon. Ah. We're back. Or at least I'm back. I don't know about y'all, but I'm back. Baka. Baka, baka, baka. Dinky baka. Welcome back. No, you. Also, hi. Hamter. Oh, what a nice hamter. Hamter. You just punch me. Can't even change your water in peace. Where? Oh my god. I'm mad.
Today we're checking out a bunch of art Mandela
Hey,
effects. What is a
Mandela
Mandela
effects.
effect?
Yeah.
Well, it's a strange circumstance where a large group of people remember something differently than it is now. When it comes to art, you've more than
Thank you
likely
for the
seen most
follow.
of these
Welcome,
paintings
welcome.
and
Hope you
statues.
enjoy here.
But what if I was to tell you that they have somehow seemingly changed? Some swear that
Again?
nothing has changed. They're all the exact same. But then there are others out there, you might be one of them, that says these have absolutely changed. It's enough to make you feel crazy. That's what we're talking about today, and I'm sure some of these are going
Oh,
to
is
blow
this
your
a
mind.
compilation?
Remember, the fun of
This
the
is a
Mandela
compilation
effect is
in
that
it.
we don't know what caused these changes,
Hold
or why
on.
some
I have a feeling if it mentions the thinker, yeah. Alright, there's probably some new ones, but I remember the thinker one specifically. Well, anyways.
people are
let's just
affected
watch
by
it.
some changes and others aren't. It's a weird mystery, but that's why I love talking about it. Today I'm covering a collection of brand new examples, as well as ones that I've covered in the past, combined into one massive art collection for you to enjoy. Links for everything are in the description. Let's check out some art Mandela effects. To kick this video off, let's talk about the classic painting, American Gothic by Grant Wood. This was created in 1930 and has been replicated, recreated, and emulated in other forms of art numerous times because it's such an iconic piece. It's an older couple, a farmer and wife, standing in front of their farmhouse. The man is holding a pitchfork, and both of them look very weary and tired. Many say that this painting really captured this moment in time in Iowa. So what's the Mandela effect? Well, that couple in the painting, it isn't a husband and wife. It's actually a farmer and his blonde-haired daughter. That's right, not husband and wife.
Okay.
It's actually a farmer and his blonde-haired daughter. But a ton of
To be fair, like, how would you know that's his daughter? Like, just looking at it. I sure as hell wouldn't.
people online are really confused about this because they believe it was an older couple. When this painting was created, Grant Wood actually used his sister as a model for the daughter in the painting, so this being the farmer's blonde-haired daughter has seemingly always been the case. But then why do so many people remember an older woman? Some online have speculated that the painting must have been changed or altered.
I do actually remember it being like an older woman. Had like a darker hair and like older features. That's how I remember it. And she looked very similar to the woman in the painting, except, well, older and with darker hair. That's how I remember it. So absolutely, I am, yeah, also glasses. Yep. I am absolutely one of the people affected by this Mandela effect.
But there is currently no evidence that any change has ever been made to this. When it first appeared in the Cedar Rapids Gazette, a local newspaper, real Iowa farmers and wives were mad. They believed it to be a nasty caricature of Midwestern farmers, believing American Gothic made these farmers out to be pinched, grim-faced, puritanical Bible thumpers. That's not all. In fact, one wife of an Iowan farmer told Grant Wood that he should have his head bashed in for the piece. Apparently the farmers and their wives were not a fan of this piece. which is hilarious because nowadays it's revered as this beautiful piece of this time and place. But actually, the people that lived in that time and place thought it was pretty awful. In fact, Grant tried to defend himself as a loyal Iowan by insisting that the people in American Gothic aren't intended to be farmers, but rather small town folk. Not Iowans, but generic Americans.
I'm a call bullshit there. That's just saying, like, all these special buzzwords at the time to get more attention on it. Is Aura from the US? That is correct.
Absolutely hilarious. I'm going to mention Leonardo da Vinci a couple times in this video. One, because his art has left a lasting impact on the world. And two, because a lot of his pieces have been affected by the Mandela effect. So let's take a look at the Vitruvian Man. A drawing of a man facing towards you with arms and legs in different positions. Here's my question for you. In this detailed anatomical drawing, how many arms are shown? Many people remember 3 sets of symmetrical
really
arms,
a big thing over
but this
there?
drawing in fact only has 2 sets of arms.
Yes and no.
Some believe the empty space on the left and right between the arms and legs was supposedly where that extra set of arms were, but as of now, they've never existed. Others believe that the 3rd set of arms were sticking straight.
For some people, it's definitely a big thing, but for my family, it was never really all that big. Like, my grandma, she would go to church every Sunday, but aside from that, like, we didn't really, you know, like, practice religion or whatever. We were given the choice to, like, think how we like. We weren't taught, oh, this is what the Bible says. Bible, Bible, Bible. No, we were just like, you know, just kind of left to our own devices most of the time. Yeah. I've maybe been to church, like, I probably can't even count it on like, both hands. Not even that much. Wait, no. Other way around. I can probably count it within both hands. That's what I meant. I keep hearing about religious nut jobs in the US. Glad that wasn't a thing for you. I mean, if you want to know about religious nut jobs, talk to Sadra. He knows all about religious nut jobs, specifically Jehovah's Witnesses. Anyways.
Straight up in the air. There are a few different variations of this supposed memory, but in all cases, there were 3 sets of arms, not 2. Do you remember there being more than this, or is this exactly what you remember?
I've seen this both ways.
Here's a quick Mandela effect for you. Let's talk about the painting Wanderer Above the Sea of Fog.
Oh,
This
that's the
famous
one in
painting,
Minecraft.
as many people recall, was of a man standing on a massive rock looking out into the ocean. It turns out that this painting is not a man looking out into the sea, but actually a fog-covered forest. Take a look for yourself. Now, why so many people believe the man in this painting...
You have to look very close and be paying attention to think that it's, like, not a sea. Like, that could just be, like, rocks jutting up from the sea, right? Who knows?
Painting is looking out in an ocean is anyone's guess. Perhaps it's the fog in the painting, or the word sea used in its title. But this painting is actually looking out into dense fog-covered forests. There are trees, cliffs, valleys, mountains, and peaks. The painting that so many people seem to remember of a man looking out towards the sea, it simply doesn't exist. So here's where things get weird. This painting has been recreated many times in photographs, and for some reason, so many of them are recreated by looking out into the sea. Did something change at some point? Or has everyone simply been misremembering this world-famous painting? I'll let you decide. Oh, and fun fact, this painting might look familiar to Legend of Zelda fans, because it's obviously a direct inspiration for the cover art of Breath of the Wild.
What? No way, I never would have guessed.
Which released in 2017. Not only that, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, released in 1988, used this painting as an inspiration as well.
What? No way, I never would have guessed.
Let's go way back in time to the 1500s and talk about King Henry VIII. Specifically, a painting of Henry VIII by the artist Hans Holbein. That's
Okay.
this guy right here. This portrait is well known around the world and has replicas in many countries. So if your childhood was like mine and so many others, you visited a museum in your youth and saw a replica of this painting on one of its many walls. Apparently many people remember Henry VIII holding a turkey leg. Does that sound like what you remember?
Yeah,
The belief
actually.
was that Henry VIII was a plump and extremely wealthy fellow in his time. I mean, obviously, he was the king. The turkey leg he held in his hand in this portrait was representative of that. But here's the thing. In the painting, he isn't holding a turkey leg. In his portrait, he is holding what appears to be a glove. And the weird thing is that the glove doesn't resemble a turkey leg in the slightest. But upon doing research for this Mandela effect, I did discover that turkeys were introduced in England in the 1520s, which is during the time that King Henry would have been in charge. So it's entirely possible that he could have been munching on a turkey leg during that time. Another interesting detail I discovered is that turkey was King Henry VIII's favorite food, and he made it a staple of any Christmas dinner. Perhaps it was popular media like The Simpsons that planted this idea in people's minds. In a 2004 episode of The Simpsons, Homer was playing Henry VIII, and yes, he had a turkey leg in his hand. Did this inspire the belief of the turkey leg? Or was this inspired by the fact that the portrait did at one point have a turkey leg in it?
I feel like it did have a turkey leg in it. And this is a very proper Mandela effect.
You know, maybe there is something to this one. Was King Henry VIII always holding a glove in his hand in this world-famous portrait? Or was it at some point a turkey leg?
If people didn't think it was a turkey leg, then it wouldn't keep getting recreated all the time.
It did exist, and somehow changed over the last 500 years.
How you doing, Officer
What is the chance
Valkyrie?
that the change happened during our lifetimes for us to even notice it? It's a real head-scratcher. What do you think?
You know what else is a real head-scratcher? Head-scratchers. Whoa, never would have guessed.
Mona Lisa, the world-famous painting by Leonardo da Vinci,
Yes, the Moaning Lisa. I mean, what? Huh?
is no stranger to the Mandela effect. Previously, people have argued over whether or not she is smiling, smirking, or just giving a straight face, a debate that still rages on to this day. But that's not the argument that's going to be presented today. Today we're talking about a growing group of people who have made the claim that Lisa now has a thin, semi-transparent black veil over her head and hair that she previously did not. Take a look at this and tell me what you think. What do you remember?
I mean, yeah.
Has the black veil always been there? Or are these people mistaken? Or has this strange new addition to history crept in without anyone noticing?
It's probably always been there and people just didn't notice it. Because, like, how we always see it in media and shit, we don't see, like, 100% full detail, you know? Especially since, it wasn't really shown off all that much until, like, the television era. And television quality, especially back then, like in the 70s, 80s, 90s, was not great. It was not good quality, so it's entirely possible that the veil was there the entire time.
Here's an outlandish theory that someone proposed that seems entirely within the